All right, what's up? Gonna be making an iced matcha latte. Got my jade leaf organic ceremonial matcha right here. And I will be going to Japan and getting some really interesting matcha there. So gonna use as much of this as I can in the next couple of weeks or so. The cup I'm going to be pouring all this in is this very fancy Berkman's Place cup that I got while I was at the Masters last year. Nice frosted glass, but really a perfect size cup for a drink like this, at least in my opinion. When it comes to me and any drink that I make, I only really make as much as I know I'm going to drink. So my cups are not always the largest for the ice drinks, and they're not always the largest the uh for the um for the hot drinks either. Like I really just like a very certain amount of liquid for the different drinks that I make, so I can get a really nice and consistent taste, and also so I can consume the entire thing. I don't really like to waste it. So, yeah, let's go ahead and get into this. I got my actual matcha scoop. I got the sifter right here and cup, everything, actual matcha whisk up here as well. And when it comes to a nice drink, I'll usually do maybe two larger scoops and then maybe a half scoop. It really depends on the size of scoop you use. This is one of the larger ones that I think you would use for a more culinary experience or maybe an experience with a group of people. Before, I did have one that was like half the width of this scoop, and I didn't really have to think about it, but then I went onto Amazon, and I promise you all I'm going to do a lot more shopping when I'm in Japan and get like the really, really good stuff. But uh, I did a little bit of Amazon shopping beforehand, and I just so happened to get one that was pretty wide. So I had to kind of adjust what I'd done in the past in past videos. So based off the experience I've had with this so far, two larger scoops and then maybe about a half scoop to satisfy my flavor profile for this. Now, I'm also going to use raw sugar, and I guess you can say it's equivalent to about a tablespoon's worth of raw sugar, maybe a little bit more with this. Well, I don't use it for a hot drink. Only ice drinks I'll use the sugar for, but I do like it to be on the sweeter end. That's just my taste. So let's get started with the scoops and the sifting, straining, whatever. One large scoop right there. I can put it over the paper towel just to minimize any mess. And I know I got this big espresso machine right here in front of me, but I'm not actually going to use it. While I'm doing this, actually, let's go ahead and make sure that the kettle is all warmed up. And then let's do, it's about a well, yeah, three full scoops, we'll say. A little bit extra than I originally planned, but it's fine. I When it comes to an ice drink, you can be a little bit more lenient, especially when you're going to be sweetening it with raw sugar. It's not going to taste bitter hardly at all, no matter what way you put it. So kettle's going to make a little bit of noise if you hear that. I'm just going to go ahead and sift this through, make it all fine. And again, because it's an ice drink, this step right here doesn't really matter. But I have completed this drink and still seen specks of matcha in here. So if you don't want specks of matcha, you want to minimize specks of matcha actually being in the drink, it's a good way to do it, or a way to mitigate that. It's not going to eliminate it entirely every time, especially when you mix raw sugar in here with it. So I'm going to shake the raw sugars to loosen it up. And then I'm really just going to eyeball it, honestly, just eyeballing it. About a tablespoon, maybe a little bit more. Honestly, that's maybe like 2. And that's it. That's all I do to sweeten it up. From here, I could use a spout on the Breville machine, but I just like using the spout on my actual kettle. It's just a more pleasant experience, and then I need to soak this in hot water as well. I can use a kettle or I can just use my sink over here. It really doesn't matter. When it comes to soaking, when it comes to soaking the bristles, so you don't, minimize the risk of breaking it, and it's just what I'm used to. It's muscle memory at this point. So I'm gonna aim to put maybe 4 ounces of water in here. That's usually what I do, and then immediately get to the whisking. Now, it may be hard to see, maybe hard to show you, but I'm not exactly going in a circular motion when I'm doing this. I'm kind of doing a back and forth zigzag motion. Yeah, I'm just going to do this for a couple. Already getting a nice foam. It's looking beautiful. Color's looking beautiful. It smells good. I absolutely love matcha. And I cannot wait to go to Japan and actually experience it from the source. Because I feel like that's going to change a lot about how I do it here too. Once I taste what this stuff is really supposed to be like, and I can see them like make it right in front of me, all the amounts, everything, I'm going to be paying very close attention to make sure I can reanimate that here. So, all right, we got our hot matcha, sweetened matcha. We got our cup. We're going to make an ice drink, so we need ice. Got my ice right here. I forgot to put more ice in here, but this is probably enough. Sure. And then with any ice drink, and it's just personal preference, honestly, I like to use half and half. So I'm gonna open up the brand new carton of half and half I got. And then, yeah, I just put ice in there first. Then I try to pour them both together, the matcha and the half and half. So let's go ahead and just get everything organized so I don't, well, minimize the spill. Break the ice and get it in here. You can really use whatever kind of ice you want, I guess. I mean, some people do get that specific. I like the average US shaped ice, I guess, if that's something you're paying attention to. And let me go ahead and put water in here. I know it's just sink water. It's really whatever. We got a water filter back there. The water is filtered in some way, so I'm not worried about the quality of this water, really. Of course, I'm not like putting this water into the machine or my kettle. I'm actually buying water when I put it in the kettle and when I put it in the machine. Like even though this is still filtered, I just don't like using any kind of like plumbed water in my machines. That's just me. When I get my next house, maybe I can change that and get like some crazy plumbing system that's like more than just whatever the whole house uses, like specifically for the machine, like carbon filter and stuff like that. I don't know. We'll see when we get there, but anyway, yeah. Now I'm just gonna pour them both together, hopefully give you all a good view of this, the best I possibly can. And then what you can do before you like finish pouring it to the top, you see how I have this residual matcha right here. I like to pour a little bit of half and half in there, swash it around, and then pour that on the top so you minimize waste. Finish it up, and there you have it. A perfect green drink to commemorate your Berkman's Place visit. Got a little bit of marbling. Hopefully I can get y'all a good view. It's a really nice contrast right there. And then you mix it up a little bit. You still got the foam on the top right there. Let's give it a taste. It's beautiful. Maybe maybe I overdid the matcha just a little bit. I think I should have hard stuck to my 2.5 large scoops of matcha. I do have just a little hint of bitterness right there, but it's wonderfully smooth and it's still very sweet. Well, sweet enough. What could I do to make this even better? If I had it with me, I would put maybe a half a pump of French vanilla specifically. I think French vanilla complements the iced matcha drinks very well, more so than even the regular vanilla syrups. French vanilla just hits the spot for me every single time. But yeah, iced matcha latte in the Berkman's Place cup. Thanks for watching as always. I haven't made one of these in a while, so sorry if it was a little bit rough around the edges, but yeah, more soon.